Hi, my name is Alex, and in the last episode of Programming Basics, we have covered how to create a new console application project and output Hello World to the screen. In today's episode, we are going to learn about comments and colors. Comments let us describe and explain our code, making more complex code easier to understand when we read it later. In C#, single-line comments start with two forward slashes. Then the rest of the line becomes a comment. On the other hand, multi-line comments start with a forward slash followed by an asterisk. Since these are multi-line comments, we need to tell C# where the comment ends, and we do that with the same symbols but in reverse order. Asterisk and then a forward slash. You shouldn't always comment your code. Instead, your code should be clear enough that it explains itself. However, when you do comment, never simply rewrite the code in human language, but instead explain the logic and intention behind it. For example, instead of writing read output from the console before the console.read command, we write pause the program until the user provides input, because that is the intention behind the code. Comments are only there for us, the developers. C# doesn't care about them and totally ignores them. So, when we run the program from the last episode with our comments, we see that nothing changed. Keep watching until the end of the episode to learn a quick bonus tip on how to use comments to speed up testing while programming. Now let's take a look at how to make our program prettier. Most of the interactions with the console will happen through the console class. Now, what we want to do is change the color of the text we are displaying. I am using the recording from last time, so unfortunately you still can't see the menus. But after we type console dot, in the menu that should pop up, we can search for any functions or properties that contain the word color. We have two options now. But first, let's look at background color. To find out what background color does, we hover over the name background color and a tooltip appears. The tooltip always tells us the name of the property or function and the type they return. Also, if we put a comment above the property or function to describe them when we create them, the tooltip will show this comment. In the case of background color, we see the tooltip has curly brackets with the words get and set. This means background color is a property, and the description of this property is that it gets or sets the background color of the console, which is the color behind every character. We will talk more about properties in later videos, but for now, in order to set the value of this property, we use the equal sign. Next, in the tooltip, we saw that the type of the property was console color. For me, the console color type is in green, which means it is an enum. In short, an enum is a special type in C# that links a name to a number. They are used to avoid having a lot of magic numbers throughout the code and give them a meaningful name instead. To get the value we need from an enum, we type the name of the enum, console color, followed by a dot, and then a menu pops up with all the different values defined in the enum. For now, let's choose dark blue, and of course, we end the line with a semicolon. What do we expect to happen if we run the program now? The background behind our hello world text became dark blue. Now let's play with the code a little bit. Let's move the background color line below our right line and run the program. By the way, to move a line up or down in Visual Studio, I press Alt and the up or down arrow keys. Running the program again gets rid of the blue color. This shows that the order in which we call the functions is very important. The background color will change the color for all the characters that are printed to the console after the call to background color. Which is why, when we try to set the color after we already printed something to the console, the color doesn't change. Let's once again put a background color before our output, but this time we will make it dark red. And then we will output new text after we change the color to blue. What do we expect to happen now? First, we set the color to red and we write hello world. Then we set the color to blue and write dark blue message. And as expected, the hello world is red and the dark blue message is blue. If you remember, besides the background color property, we had another option. Let's look for it by typing console dot and then the word color. In the menu that pops up, we see background color and foreground color. Just like the background color changes the color behind the text, the foreground color changes the color of the text. Let's make our hello world appear green by setting the foreground color equal to console color dot dark green. We run the program and yes, our hello world is green. But our dark blue message decided to also become green. And the reason is simple. Just like the background color, the foreground color changes the color for all the text that is printed to the console after these colors were set. In other words, once we set the foreground color to green, all text printed after that will be green until we set a different foreground color. So let's return our dark blue message to white by setting the foreground color to white after we print hello world, but before we print our second message. It's all behaving as we expect it to now. If you've gotten this far, congratulations! You now know how to write text out to the console and make it pretty. In the next episode, we are going to look at how to accept input from the user and maybe even make our very first small game. And now for the bonus tip on comments. We can repurpose the multi-line comment symbols to be able to quickly comment out entire sections of the code by simply changing two characters. First, we surround the different code sections we might want to comment out with the opening and closing multi-line comment symbols. Then, in order to comment out one of the sections, all we have to do is delete the closing symbol at the start of that code section. To uncomment it, re-add the closing symbol. If we try to comment out the first and third sections we wrapped with our symbols, you will see that the second section does not get commented out until we remove the closing symbol from above it. Running the program, you see that it starts from the "What is your full name?" question instead of "Hello World." This is how you can quickly comment out large sections of code and quickly test different methods or debug problems. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for future videos. For any questions, leave a comment and I will gladly help out with any problems that you may have. This has been your friendly neighborhood programming guy, Alex. Thanks for watching.